Dear friends and comrades, Namaste, Lal Salam. All of you know on the 3rd of July there will be a nationwide protest of the Indian working class. A clarion call is being given by the central trade unions of our country and independent federations like All India Defence Employees Federation. The entire working class of the country, the people of the country are facing a very serious crisis. The economy of the country was in doldrums even before the COVID-19 lockdown. Adding salt to the injury, after the COVID-19 lockdown, the entire burden of the economy has been transferred to the working people of this country. On the one side, the people are worried, they are afraid what will happen to their health when they will be attacked by the most dangerous pandemic coronavirus. And on the other side, job loss, no income, price rise is going to the height of Everest. Every day there is an increase in the petrol and diesel price. The people are expecting some sort of a consideration from the government, but the government is not prepared to give any concession or any helping hand to the people of this country. Rather, taking advantage, taking shelter of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government, in the name of Atmanirbhar Bharat, directed the finance minister to come to the public domain and go on announcing things which are against the interest of our country. I am not going into all those details. I am restricting myself to two important issues. The major announcement made by the finance minister is, in future, there will not be any public sector undertaking in our country. All the public sector undertakings will be privatized. There will be only 4 public sector in the strategic sector, and the remaining public sector enterprises will all be privatized. Similarly, in the non-strategic sector, there will be only 1 public sector and all others will be privatized. This is a major policy decision taken by the government. Another policy decision they have taken is with regard to handing over the coal mines to the private sector. Third one is right from below the earth to above the earth, everything will be privatized. Which means below the earth, mines are there, coal is there, all natural resources below the earth will all be privatized. And above the earth, the space, the ISRO, the activities of the ISRO, the activities of the space research, satellites, missions, everything will be privatized. Atomic energy also will be privatized. And then the major bombshell is on the 41 ordnance factories. 41 ordnance factories, the 219 years old industrial setup of our country, will be corporatized. That means it will be converted into a public sector enterprise and it will be listed in the share market. Which means what? On the one side, the government says there will not be any public sector. There will be only 4 strategic public sector. In the defense, all of you know there are already 9 defense public sector undertakings like HAL, BEL, BEML, BDL and so on. If the ordnance factories are converted into a public sector, then it will become the 10th one. Now, out of this 10, which 4 will remain as a public sector? Which 6 will go to the private sector? And what is the guarantee that these 4 also will remain with the public sector? So these are all the dangerous announcements. Yesterday, I was very much shocked to hear the Bhashan of the Prime Minister in the Man Ki Baat. He made a reference about the ordnance factories. Maybe he must have read the appeal filed by the 3 federations of the defense civilian employees, wherein we have appealed to him that considering the defense preparedness of our country, considering the role played by the ordnance factories for achieving self-reliance in our country, the decision taken by the government to corporatize the ordnance factory should be withdrawn, so that the employees also will take a decision about their indefinite strike. Definitely he must have gone through that joint appeal made by the 3 federations. I am just reading out what he has told yesterday in his Man Ki Baat about the ordnance factories. Friends, before independence, in the realm of the defense sector, the country was ahead of many countries in the world. There used to be a multitude of ordnance factories. Many countries that lagged behind us then are ahead of us now. After independence, we should have made efforts in the defense sector, taking advantage of our prior experience. We did not. But today, in the field of defense and technology, India is relentlessly endeavoring to advance in those fronts. India is taking stride towards self-reliance. This is the statement made by the Honorable Prime Minister. I don't know whether somebody has correctly briefed him or not. Before independence, we were having about 17 or 18 ordnance factories in our country. After that, after independence, the country felt its need of achieving self-reliance in defense, and our great national leaders like Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, V.K. Krishna Menon, Y.B. Chavan, followed by Madam Indira Gandhi, they all had a vision about the defense of our country, and that is why today we are having 41 ordnance factories. And the Prime Minister wanted to say that after independence, the ordnance factories have not done anything. It was only before independence ordnance factories were doing wonderful things. Before independence, it was the British technology, because all these ordnance factories were based on the Britain Royal Ordnance Factory setup. Technology was only Britain technology. After they left, who gave us technology? It was the erstwhile Soviet Union, the socialist countries, who helped India in achieving self-reliance. They gave us technology. Even today, the tanks which are going towards the border, these tanks are produced with the technology given by the erstwhile Soviet Union, of course today Russia. And many new products we have indigenously developed. We have developed a bulletproof jacket, we have developed a Dhanush gun, we have developed different types of protective clothing required for the armed forces. We have developed many new types of ammunitions. Apart from that, I was expecting that the Prime Minister will congratulate the ordnance factories for the role played by them during the COVID-19 crisis. When the country was having zero stock of PPEs required for the frontline warriors to fight the COVID-19 virus, it was only the ordnance factories and its workforce who came forward, taking all the risk of their life and their family members' life. They worked night and day and produced lakhs and lakhs of medical masks, coveralls, lakhs and lakhs of liters of sanitizers, repairing of the ventilators required for the hospitals, All these contributions the ordnance factories have made. But the PM not used a single word appreciating the ordnance factories. Therefore, the three federations have correctly taken the decision that we should fight back against the corporatization of the ordnance factories, because all of us know, even the present government is very clearly telling that first corporatization and then privatization. Therefore, the decision taken by the federations are very correct, and the 99.9% of the employees have voted in favor of an indefinite strike. Now, apart from this, the labor laws are being amended. Proposals are there for increasing the working hours. Many state governments have made 8 hours to 12 hours. But after the central trade unions complained to ILO, ILO intervened and the state governments were forced to withdraw those orders. But it is in the agenda. Some report says that 10 lakh vacancies are there in public sector and about 6 lakh vacancies are there in government sector like the railway, defense and so on. 16 lakh youth must have got job. 16 lakh means it is 27% for OBC, 15% for scheduled caste, 7.5% for scheduled tribe, 10% for economically weaker section from the forward community, 4% for physically challenged and 10% for ex-servicemen. All these employment opportunities are taken away. In a nutshell, the entire working class of the country is in attack. It may be bank, it may be insurance, it is BSNL, it is MTNL, it is all heavy industry under the PSUs, including Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, the coal sector, all the mine sector, petroleum, electricity, public transport, nothing is spared. Nothing is spared. Therefore, the working class have to show its unity on the 3rd of July, and it is going to be the first step for the call given by the central trade unions and independent federations for a non-cooperation movement. Let all of us make 3rd July 2020 nationwide protest day a grand success. Thank you, comrades.